So after watching one of Space Coconut's more recent videos, linked in the description below, something dawned on me that almost no content creator talks about when discussing Dead by Daylight's declining numbers, and that is the cost of the game as a bar for entry. Now I bring up Space Coconut because this is something he does discuss, but only ever as a surface level point in passing. So I decided that I would do what I usually do, and perform a deeper analysis on this matter. And what did I find? Well, as much as I love Space Coconut's content, in this case, he's wrong. Well, partly. You see, the issue with Dead by Daylight's cost as a bar for entry is a bit complicated. Now, if you're looking to get absolutely all of the content, not including the cosmetic DLC or the soundtrack, it will cost you roughly $159 US. Assuming you pay for the base game and both the Killer and Survivor expansion packs, every licensed DLC, and every non-licensed DLC that came after the All Kill chapter. The price, of course, lowers by about $10 if you buy the Dead by Daylight Ultimate Edition for roughly $70. Seems Behavior learned the wrong lesson from Ubisoft, since they forgot that before you can charge ludicrous amounts for DLCs and bundles, you need to make a competently good game first. In Space Coconut's video, he notes that purchasing all of Dead by Daylight's DLC will cost you over $200. And he's technically not wrong in this case. Yes, all of the combined DLC packs plus the base game do total up to about $260. However, this price tag does include the cosmetic DLCs, the soundtrack, and redundancies in the form of buying both the Survivor and Killer expansions for $30 each, and then buying every chapter from A Flesh and Mud to All Kill, which are all included in the Survivor and Killer expansions, for $7 each, which is a total of $77. But in Space Coconut's defense, I can see where this is an easy mistake to make. If you go to the Steam store page and scroll down to the bottom of the DLC list, next to the button that says Add All DLC to Cart, the price tag is $239.70. Oh, and no. If you buy either the Killer or Survivor expansion packs, you will not get a discount or partial refund for any Killers or Survivors that you already own. Even in light of this correction, Space Coconut's point still stands. For new players looking to get into Dead by Daylight, there's a significant cost which serves as a bar for entry. Or is it really? With a price tag that is 2 to 3 times the price of any single AAA title, and easily 5 to 10 times the price of many newer, decent games on Steam, Dead by Daylight looks more like an investment than just a game. What I mean by this is new and unsuspecting players will spend a small fortune and honestly have little to show for it, and smarter players will be more able to pick and choose what they want to minimize both price and grind. For Survivors, if you've seen any content creators with high MMR, or rank, playing Dead by Daylight in the past 4 years, then you're probably already aware that 3 of the 5 strongest perks in the Survivor meta are already freely available to those who own the base game. Those perks are Dead Hard, Unbreakable, and Borrowed Time. The other 2 perks come from the Halloween chapter and the Hour of the Witch, those being Decisive Strike and Boon Circle of Healing. For a Survivor looking to have the most meta build, they will need only 1 or 2 DLCs for a total of $7 to $12 in addition to the base game. As for grind, that depends on how much flexibility our savvy Survivor wants. Iron Will is a free perk from Jake, Quick and Quiet is an excellent perk for confusing killers and is free from Meg, Self-Care is a criminally underrated perk which is free from Claudette if you don't want to buy Michaela for Circle of Healing. Urban Evasion is a fantastic perk for hiding from killers who get too close and is free with the entity. Nia. And let's not forget Prove Thyself for Leader, both free with Dwight. The point being, there are plenty of powerful free perks already available for survivors who want a meta build. Even Decisive Strike is not necessary, it's just a nice option to have. So when it comes to new players looking to play survivors, this is where Space Coconut gets it wrong. There is little to no additional cost of entry beyond the base game, and that's just depending on how meta a survivor player intends to be. The total cost of entry for survivors looking for the most meta build only requires the base game plus 1 or 2 DLCs, which is $32 at most. Also, by playing to this meta, it significantly reduces the amount of grind a player would need to do in order to get these specific perks. That said, if you're a survivor looking to have fun with toxic and meme builds, then yes, Dead by Daylight is going to cost you a small fortune and involve thousands of hours of grinding. So in that regard, Space Coconut is absolutely correct. Like I said earlier, this topic is more complicated and nuanced than simple numbers on a spreadsheet. That was just for survivors. For killers... better get that wallet open. Do you want basic gen defense? Ruin and Dying is going to run you $14. Need to get through Windows fast? Bamboozle is another $7. Corrupt Intervention? Corrupt Devs say that'll be another $7. And that's just 4 perks. 5 if you're including Pop Goes the Weasel, and you're already spending $28. Might as well just buy the Killer expansion pack at that point, since it covers some of the basics, and then some. Oh, and let's not forget that most of the better killer perks are found on Dead by Daylight's licensed DLC. Perks like Save the Best for Last, Deadlock and Plaything, Make Your Choice, Franklin's Demise and Barbecue and Chili, Trail of Torment, and Lethal Pursuer. In addition to perks, you'll also need to buy specific DLCs just to play specific killers, unlike survivors who are all just skins of each other. So like I said, Space Coconut is only partly wrong in his statement. For survivors, the bar for entry is literally the price of the base game. If survivors want to go super meta, then they can expect to pay another $12. That's it. Everything else is optional, and you'll likely never use most of what you pay for, unless what you're looking for is a specific survivor skin. Killers, on the other hand, have a very high price tag and bar for entry. In order to play Killer effectively, you'll need to purchase every chapter available, not just for a variety of perks and perk combos, but also for the variety of killers who benefit from different perks and perk combos. Again, let's compare. For survivors, the price of entry is just $20 for the base game, and a small degree of grinding, whereas the price of entry for killers is about $160 with easily 1,000 hours of grinding or more. So to play effectively, killers need to pay double the price that an entire survivor team needs to pay just to play the game. And even then, survivors don't even need perks to play effectively. These numbers are very hard to ignore and are just one more example of how this game is survivor-sided. It's not just imbalanced in-game. Dead by Daylight is also imbalanced in terms of pricing, with killers needing to foot the bill for a game that is already slanted against them. In essence, it's a pay-to-lose game for killers. This should really be a wake-up call for the devs to reconsider their bias in favor of survivors, even if only for the sake of their bottom line. So what does this have to do with the original point? Well, it does help to explain the continuing decline in Dead by Daylight's player population. New survivors can pick up the game for a fraction of the cost that killers will need to pay. Killers, on the other hand, will reasonably be expected to pay 8 times the amount that survivors need to pay just to be competitive. And even then, the most common complaint amongst killers is how it just isn't fun to play killer because of how unbalanced the game is. Is it any wonder then why more survivors aren't jumping over to play killer when queue times are longer than the average match? Once a new survivor gains a bit of experience and sees just how easy it is to bully killers, what is there to compel them to spend over $100 to not have fun? It's not uncommon to find content creators pointing to skill-based matchmaking as the reason why Dead by Daylight has been hemorrhaging players for the past 9 months. While there is some merit to this, all skill-based matchmaking did was expose how badly broken and one-sided the game really is, by dividing players, survivors in particular, into 2 categories: those who know how to abuse and exploit various broken mechanics of the game, and those who don't. This of course puts significant pressure on killers who started playing sweatier and sweatier just to keep up with the constant wave of even sweatier survivor teams they would be facing and losing to. And even then, losing was not an escape. If sweat squads didn't have enough killers to go against, they would be matched with a killer they already trounced, further driving skilled and sweaty killers down into lower MMR pools. This, of course, had a cascading effect, making everyone play sweatier and sweatier on both sides, going down in skill. When a game is so unbalanced that generally speaking, it isn't fun to play one side, especially after spending $160 on a game, what incentive is there for newer players to spend over $100 to play that side? This also explains why there are more new survivors going up against experienced killers and also not having fun because of that matchup. The price bar for entry is set too high for killers, in addition to balance issues and developer bias making it not enjoyable to play this crucial role in Dead by Daylight. And for survivors, the skill bar for entry is set too high since there are fewer new killers, leaving new survivors to play against more experienced killers who have adapted to playing in the sweatiest way possible to deal with survivor teams at their own MMR, making the game equally not fun for new survivors. So, in the end, there are multiple factors that explain Dead by Daylight's declining numbers. All skill-based matchmaking did was expose everything that's wrong with Dead by Daylight. The result is where we are today, an overpriced game with a bleeding player base. No one wants to pay $20 for a lobby simulator, and no one wants to pay $160 to be stressed out and not have fun. And I predicted this would happen, and I was promptly banned from the forums for it. It's honestly bittersweet to be able to say I told you so to a group of devs who have repeatedly squandered the potential of their game. On a final note, for anyone who still believes that the game is killer-sided, just remember that for the price of the base game, survivors can have a very meta build using perks that exist primarily on 2 characters alone. After 23 chapters that introduced different killers, killer players still don't have a meta build. Now, some people will try to argue that slowdown perks are meta, but they aren't. They're practically required. They only help in preventing survivors from escaping in 4 minutes or less, and even then they don't always work given all their requirements and caveats, unlike survivor perks. If behavior truly wants to rescue Dead by Daylight, the best way they can do it is first by making all original DLCs that are older than 1 year free, and second by taking all perks from licensed killers that are older than 1 year and adding them to the general perk pools. The cost of entry in Dead by Daylight is too high for one side, but it's that side which plays a crucial role in the game, and the devs need to start treating that role with the respect that it deserves. Once the killer role dies, it takes the whole of Dead by Daylight with it. But that's going to do it for me. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and if you like the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave us a like, and ring that bell for notifications when more videos go live. But that's going to do it for me on this video, and I'm going to see all of you guys in the next one. Bye.